Yesterday's headline was Merz draws a line, Merz has had enough, and the situation practically exploded on the internet. I saw it on all kinds of channels, and as we could all read, Friedrich Merz has now, well, completely lost trust in the Social Democrats. And he is now going to take a completely different approach here in Germany. By the way, if you want to support this channel, I would really appreciate a like and a subscription. And now I'm going to tell you what exactly this was all about. And before we get into all of that, I just need to quickly tell you one thing. Yesterday, he sent his top negotiator to the Seeheimer Kreis, and they went across Lake Tegel and had a nice asparagus meal where the top negotiator, Markus Söder, was present. He arrived a bit late at first, so the ship couldn't depart.
With their tax plan, the CDU-CSU bloc promises relief for almost all taxpayers. According to the CDU's plans, the top tax rate will only apply to taxable income above 85,000 euros. Top-earning families could save up to 4,100 euros per year as a result.
After hearing this news, Lars Klingbeil was reportedly waiting for Markus Söder, fuming and sweating with anger. Oh, maybe that was at the election arena on Channel 1. I'm not entirely sure myself where he reacted yesterday, fuming and absolutely sweating. It's about the tax relief. Yes, let's just briefly remember, every time people here get relief, no matter where, as long as you don't eliminate bureaucracy. If you reduce it, I have to tell you, it's less tax revenue that Lars Klingbeil won't have afterwards. And he doesn't like such a proposal at all, especially if it could come from the CDU. And Nina Wagen just said, oh, the health insurance contribution reform won't be enough. The health insurance contributions now have to increase even more because otherwise it simply can't be financed anymore.
Well, it's a bit like Christmas. We're waiting for the presents, although the presents, or rather the decision, will come by July 10th, so 1 week before the World Cup final.
Yes, and I'll explain to you why he's so angry, because this present has so many different aspects. So, health insurance contributions have to go up, and we still have in the back of our minds the 4,100 euro tax relief and at the same time the widow's pension. That has to go because we simply can't afford it anymore. Yes, I know, pretty stupid, but we also need retirement at 70. So, we've supported Ukraine so much in their right to defend themselves, their fight against Russia, that now everything here has to be cut. This list is so long, I could start with other things too. Yeah, that, well, I really have to tell you, are so extremely against the citizens. And, well, the SPD now wants to do all this with a tax on the rich. Oh, right, the solidarity surcharge is supposed to be dropped at the same time. On the other hand, hold on, yeah, they wouldn't be able to let all the pensions increase proportionally anymore. So for those who are now retirees, inflation adjustment, that's all there is. Cuts are not allowed, and after that, yes, to claim the pension as a basic security Hartz IV, better known now under the new name which isn't here yet. Those are the plans now, and suddenly Friedrich Merz doesn't care anymore. Or maybe it's because of the election campaign, since everyone knows there won't be any more reforms. So, the CDU's election campaign now, I'm just wondering who still believes him right before the elections. And of course, now they want to go for a tough reckoning right after the election for Berlin's House of Representatives.
This morning I had to think of a movie title that's 50 years old. It's called In Danger and Dire Distress, The Middle of the Road Leads to Death. Alexander Klug made that film back in '75.
By the way, the distress is so great, and this is no joke. Friedrich Merz is now making it very clear to the SPD these debts they've created are hardly justifiable to the citizens anymore, and he's already very uncomfortable with it. At the same time, he wants everyone to keep quiet, but at least the building law, that absolutely has to go through now so that people can build here in Germany as quickly as possible so the economy can get going again. After all, that used to be the case. That was the showpiece of our industry. And then there's the nature conservation law, which is standing in the way, but the Social Democrats are sticking to it. Now he's lost his patience, especially with the building law. So maybe there are some projects that Friedrich Merz himself, as an entrepreneur or builder, wanted to push forward. We don't know. And now let me tell you something. No joke, you can look it up. The new slogan, for example, in Lower Saxony is yes, from the SPD, yes, Lower Saxony is big. This fund cost 10 million euros just to put up a new slogan for 2 years. In my opinion, that's absolute embezzlement. But how do you see the whole thing? Write it down below. To pay 10 million euros for just a few letters, I find that unbelievable.
Yes, well, the thing is that this fuel discount was only temporary, so it should be ending soon. Now, the big question being discussed politically is whether it should be extended. We also asked you about that.
Yes, in exactly 20 days it will expire, and yes, in 20 days gasoline will become more expensive again. By the way, the CDU doesn't see any need to extend this thing any further. It's just too much. Well, tax expenditures, revenues that just aren't generated because of it, and on the other hand, you have to provide too much funding. They've now realized that this costs more money. Yeah, you have to imagine it's actually taking money away from the state, so basically they have to pay extra for it. It's like when we produce electricity on bright, windy days and then have to sell it abroad and actually have to pay money so that other people will take the electricity. No joke, you can look it up. It's really true. Anyway, Friedrich wants to put an end to all this chaos now. So, no more advertising campaigns for 10 million euros. He really wants to give people tax relief now. And above all, construction projects. They need to be pushed through quickly so that the economy gets going again. And as a thank you, yes, Carsten Lindemann yesterday on the boat trip, which was fun, organized by the Seeheimer Kreis, didn't even get a seat at the honor table and then ate his bratwurst sandwich. So he didn't even get a schnitzel. I think things like that are always a cynical calculation. But what do I know? I'm not really involved in this political game enough to say much about it. I'd say they deliberately put out one fewer seat because he's commented on it several times now. All these structural reforms won't happen anymore because it's impossible to continue them with the Social Democrats. And that's exactly why they're now preparing for just one thing. Election campaign, yes, election campaign. Just like with Armin Laschet when he was at 19%.
But this also applies to Klingbeil, who said yesterday in the arena that the situation is better than the public mood suggests. And with both of them, I have the feeling that they're making it easier for themselves than it actually is. Actually, real compromises that they would have to deliver should be what gives the impulse for the mood to improve.
The situation is so odd that the ruling parties get just 33. In Germany, 33% of voters would still choose the same chaos. Here in Germany, 33% of voters would choose the same chaos again. Many, by the way, because in their perception, they have no alternative. And more people are now suddenly realizing, okay, we do have an alternative. We're now at 29% who say we don't need this chaos here anymore. And he seriously believes that and says, yes, but the situation isn't that hopeless. Oh yeah, another long-established company was just bought out of insolvency. Yes, the Chinese, the ones we send development aid to, managed to buy a German corporation and of course break it up and move it to China. In insolvency, anything goes, and the only question left is, when will Germany go bankrupt? And that's why Friedrich Merz has now said that he's finally had enough. And yesterday he slammed his fist on the table and said, that's it, I'm withdrawing any support for the Social Democrats. The important thing is just that he doesn't forget it again tomorrow or suddenly decide tomorrow, no, let's just keep quiet about it. The Germans aren't supposed to find out, but the mood here has gotten so bad that Germans don't even feel like working in Germany anymore. Instead, they'd rather go for a lifestyle part-time job because they're no longer willing to break their backs working for this country. But now that the Chancellor knows that 19 is history and 19 is being replaced, well, now he has to act. And for him, it's become autumn. How did Charlotte Merz once say, my person was, well, my husband. He was actually great. We really got along well and I really liked him. And then he went into politics. And I just wonder, yeah, Charlotte, couldn't you have kept him away from politics? Then maybe Germany would have a stable government now.